Hey, I'm Jessie. I am doing marketing at the F&B group right now. When I was at Foodbank, I handled many things, I think ranging from operations all the way to the marketing, PR, and events as well.
Hi, I'm Sophia. I'm currently at an aviation company, but when I was at the Foodbank, I was doing Beneficiary Management as well as running our food bundles program. And when I started out, I also did some operations.
Programs you ran at Foodbank.
My main portfolio here at the Foodbank was Beneficiary Management. So while I was here, our task was to really try and understand the needs of the beneficiaries better. We actually did a second study with SMU called the Hunger Report 2.0. So while we had already quantified food insecurity, we really wanted to deep dive into profiling those needs.
So intense. Okay, so for myself, I think the highlights would be Feed the City. Firstly, we had a takeaway edition. It was something that we actually wanted to bring people to the restaurants to dine out and have a meal and enjoy it. But because of COVID, we instead brought the restaurants to them. So it was a huge program where we would actually serve and distribute up to 15,000 meals a day. And I think a lot of the food bankers at that time, we were just really tired because of all the massive coordination, and we were working up to about, I think, almost like 14 hours a day. And then I think something a little bit more fun was Drive Hunger Week. So this was engaging car clubs to drive over to Foodbank and to donate food as well as to help us distribute them to the households.
I remember that event. It was very fun, but also very tiring because I was in the warehouse sorting all the donations that came in.
So I think for each car club that came in, there were about 20 to 30 cars.
Describe a memorable and fun moment during your time at Foodbank.
I think one of the most memorable time for me was when we hosted President Halima at our premises. We were all super honored and super excited for it, to be able to share what we do to the president and the impact that we have in the lives of many Singaporeans.
I guess for me, I remember we did this massive bundles program with the company who sponsored more than 1,000 bundles, so we had to split it over a few days in 1 week, and it was pretty hectic one to organize, but it was very fulfilling actually.
What we could find in our bank boxes were crazy.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
So, other than things that were expired inside, there were really random items that we could not even accept that were found in the bank boxes, whether it was like used thermometers, clothes.
I remember one bank box had a 7-Eleven hamburger which had been sitting in the bottom of the bank box. It was so disgusting.
Yeah, I think we also had half-eaten like Subway sandwiches, bubble tea cups in there. It was just lots of trash actually.
Yeah. And we did remind people all the time, please donate food with a sufficient shelf life, but we still had to deal with these kinds of donations.
What superpowers does a food banker have? What do you think you have?
Well, I can name a few. One is when you go to the supermarket, at least for me, I can just tell the grammage of an item just by looking at it without actually reading the weight off.
Yeah, I think same for me. Handling all the media interviews to share about what we do. And I think that's how many of the reporters wanted to find out a little bit more, and they came to us, face the camera and answer the questions and really just share to the people.
I learned to be a very cautious driver because I had to transport eggs once from one beneficiary center to a distribution block, and it was so scary because my whole back of my car was packed full of eggs.
Yeah,
and they were shaking going over the hump.
Yeah, I think for me also a food bundle memory. I think we didn't have enough volunteers, so I had to carry like 8 food bundles at once. And these were like, I think each bag was about 4 to 5 kg. I don't know how I did it, but I was just like, we need to get this to the households, let's do it, So it's just like, build up our strength.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Lifting boxes.
We always tell volunteers, you don't need to go to the gym, you just need to come to Foodbank Warehouse. Yeah. How has your experience at Foodbank impacted your life?
Well, I went to an international school here. I was born in Singapore. I grew up here my whole life. So I sort of lived in a very sheltered world. And when I came back from university and started volunteering at Foodbank initially, which turned into full-time, I had never seen this side of Singapore before. So it really did open my eyes to what goes on here. And yeah, it really made me appreciate everything I have.
I think for me, being at Foodbank for 5 years, similarly, seeing that we are coming from a more privileged background than many of those that we see on the ground when we were at Foodbank. I think that was something that really opened up my eyes to, in a very sheltered and modern, well-developed city, you don't really see all these poverty. I think that was something that I realized that many people need to know about.
Happy birthday, Foodbank!